Joining us right now is Jamie and Kathy, and we're talking about something coming up at the end of April. It's a bike and walkathon, and it's for Huntington's disease. Now, you guys are married, and Jamie, your wife Kathy, has Huntington's disease. So let's start off with telling people just first about this event coming up. It's for this disease. Just give people all those details.
So we do have a Huntington's disease walk-in bike-a-thon. It started about 7 years ago in our community. And Kathy's family is the only one that we know of that has had this disease in our community. So it's huge for us to sponsor an event like this, and we have a lot of participation. So that walk-a-thon and bike-a-thon, we have 3 events. You can walk, a bike or wheelchair or golf cart for a 5K, or you can then do a bike-a-thon, which will include we have a 13-point plus mile bike ride and then a little longer one than that. So there's 3 options that people can participate in, and it's $30 to participate. Just to be a walk, you get a t-shirt, an event t-shirt. It starts at 8 o'clock on April 30th, and we meet at the town clock there on Main Street in Dillon, South Carolina. And so we kick off right at 8. Registration is about 7:30 that morning. And then when people come in, we'll have a small breakfast for them after, like a sausage wrap.
So you can show up the morning of to register?
Absolutely.
Okay. And can you register before if you want?
It's a good question. We can register before. You can go to our website, our church website at www.fbcdillon.com. And then if you just click on the walkathon, you can sign up online, or you can just come the day of the event.
I want to talk now about your story with Huntington's disease. You guys are married, so you were telling me a little bit about it before we came on camera. Kind of just tell me about your journey a little bit, and for people in the public, what they should know about this disease.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know much about this disease. It's a very rare genetic disease. If a parent has it, their children have a 50% chance of having that disease. In Kathy's family, her older brother had the disease, her younger sister had the disease, and she also has the disease. She's the only one out of that family that's still living, but this family has been really decimated by this disease. That's the thing that makes it so difficult. So for Huntington's disease, people say that you have the symptoms of 3 other major diseases: ALS, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's, because you have all those symptoms wrapped up in one disease. And because so many people in one family can have it at one time, it can be financially devastating. It can also be just the emotional impact of having to deal with this type of disease and care for someone. And for us, one of the things that has been such a life-changing event is having the support network of our local church, First Baptist Church in Dillon. And I was sharing earlier about one of the things that took place recently. Some of the folks in our church had recognized, they've been a part of our lives for so long, they realized that we've had a lot of challenges along the way. They realized that one of the biggest difficulties for me would be like transferring her from her wheelchair to a car and then back and forth. And so some people in our church decided to take it upon themselves. One particular lady was the driving force and encouraged some other people to get involved. And so they contacted me, wanted to speak with me one day. And when they came, there were a lot of things going on that day. But they came and they met with me, and they brought a guy from a company called Mobility Works, and they make wheelchair accessible vans. And so he told me that some people in our church felt like they needed to help us, and they bought for Kathy and me a wheelchair van to help us to be transported from one place to the other. So that's tremendous, and that nobody can ever really articulate how important it is to have a support network like we do at our church at First Baptist in Dillon.
What is the possibility of you getting it? What are the symptoms? How did that start for you guys?
Okay, so some great questions. So the symptoms is usually a slow onset. Every child of a parent who has the disease has a 50% chance of contracting the disease at some point in their life. And usually it begins around the mid-30s. It can begin earlier, even in childhood, or it can begin even later. There's no really standard time of onset. But for Kathy, it was about her mid-30s. She was a school teacher, had taught for 15 years in an elementary school. She taught 2nd and 3rd grades. And then in 2004, she started having problems. She was falling. She was having some cognitive issues, and it was beginning to be apparent. And so we had to investigate what was going on, and we realized that she had the early onset. So early onset will be trouble with balance, speech, cognition, things of that nature. But as the disease progresses, it begins to get more pronounced when it comes to eating. She has difficulty swallowing, speaking. She can't speak like she once did. a lot of movement, kind of like Parkinson's and things of that nature.
Oh, well, bless you guys
Yeah.
so much. And I love Kathy. She has on the shirt Fighting Huntington's Disease, and that you are doing, ladies. So we're just so glad that you guys are joining us today just to share with the public about this. And let's remind people again about, I'm sure this event is a great way to bring awareness, help out with stuff. So let's remind people again when it's happening and how you can get involved.
So it happens April 30th. Our start is 8 a.m. You can register at 7:30 that day. Register at our website, fbcdillon.com. And the funds go to support an organization called Huntington's Disease Society of America. That's HDSA. They help advocate for folks in our position because it's not very well known. So we need that kind of advocacy and also education. They educate families to know how to deal with the issue. So when you support this event, you're supporting our Huntington's Disease Center of Excellence. We have 2 in South Carolina right now that this event helps to support. One's in Columbia and one's in Charleston. So we are very privileged in the state of South Carolina to have those 2 centers of excellence for this disease, and this walkathon is so fundamentally important for helping us to get that word out and also get that support.
Yep. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we look forward to the Bike and Walkathon coming up, guys, on April 30th.